The story of Blockbuster isn't just about movies. It's about innovation and the danger of ignoring change. Blockbuster dominated an industry but failed to adapt when technology shifted. Meanwhile, Netflix embraced the future. The startup that once tried to sell itself for $50 million is now worth hundreds of billions. And the company that laughed at them? It became a business case study in one of the most famous corporate failures ever. Sometimes the biggest threat to a giant is the small company it refuses to take seriously. By 2010, the numbers told a brutal story. Netflix was growing rapidly. Blockbuster was drowning in debt. The company had tried to pivot, but the transformation came too late. That year, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. One of the most recognizable brands in America had collapsed. Stores closed across the country. Millions of customers moved on to streaming. Today, only one Blockbuster store remains in the entire world. In 2007, Netflix introduced a revolutionary feature. Instead of waiting for DVDs in the mail, users could instantly watch movies online. No skipping, no stores, no late fees. Just click and watch. The technology wasn't perfect at first, but the potential was enormous. Netflix was no longer competing with video rental stores. It was building the future of entertainment. Blockbuster tried to respond by launching its own streaming service. But the company had a huge problem. Thousands of physical stores. Those stores came with massive costs: rent, employees, and inventory. Netflix didn't have that problem. It was a fully digital company, and that difference would prove fatal. Over the next few years, Netflix continued improving its service. Instead of paying per rental, customers could subscribe for a monthly fee. They could rent unlimited DVDs and keep them as long as they wanted. Even better, Netflix introduced a powerful recommendation algorithm that suggested movies based on user preferences. Meanwhile, Blockbuster stuck to its traditional model. Customers still had to drive to stores, hope their movie was in stock, and return it before late fees kicked in. Eventually, Blockbuster realized the threat. In 2004, the company launched its own DVD by mail service. But by then, Netflix had already built a massive customer base. And something even bigger was about to happen: streaming. In the year 2000, Netflix was still a struggling startup. The company was losing money and looking for ways to survive. So the founders approached Blockbuster with an offer. They wanted Blockbuster to buy Netflix for $50 million. Blockbuster executives laughed at the idea. At the time, Blockbuster was worth billions. Why would they buy a tiny online DVD company? The deal never happened. For Netflix, it was a devastating rejection, but would soon become one of the most famous business mistakes in history. In 1997, two entrepreneurs, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, launched a small company in California. They called it Netflix. Instead of physical stores, their idea was simple. Customers would rent DVDs online and receive them by mail. At first, the idea sounded strange. Why wait days for a DVD when you could just drive to Blockbuster? But Netflix had one powerful advantage: no late fees. Customers could keep DVDs as long as they wanted and return them whenever they were done. For years, late fees had been a huge source of revenue for Blockbuster. In fact, at one point, late fees made up nearly 20% of the company's profits. Netflix built its entire model around eliminating them, and customers loved it. Back in 1985, renting movies wasn't exactly convenient. Most rental stores were small, messy, and had limited selections. Late fees were confusing, and finding the movie you wanted often felt impossible. That changed when entrepreneur David Cook launched Blockbuster in Dallas, Texas. His idea was simple but revolutionary: create a massive video rental store with thousands of movies organized neatly and powered by computer inventory systems. Customers loved it. Blockbuster stores were bright, clean, and packed with titles. Within just a few years, the company exploded in popularity. By the early 1990s, Blockbuster had thousands of locations across the United States. Going to Blockbuster became a Friday night tradition for millions of families. People walked through aisles, grabbed popcorn, and spent time choosing the perfect movie. At its peak, Blockbuster employed more than 80,000 people and generated billions in revenue every year. It seemed unstoppable. But behind the scenes, the future of entertainment was already changing. In the early 2000s, one company dominated movie nights across America. It had more than 9,000 stores, millions of loyal customers, and billions in revenue. If you wanted to watch a movie, there was only one place to go. That company was Blockbuster. But within just a few years, the empire collapsed. Ironically, the company that helped destroy it once tried to partner with them. That company was Netflix. So how did a billion-dollar giant lose everything? To a startup most people had never heard of? This is the rise and fall of Blockbuster.